Okay.
Today it's stand-up comedy show.
So we have turned out into stand-up comedians.
I
But
th- I
on the other
think
hand,
I think we are not going to be very good at that, but let's
no, no,
try.
no. But on the other hand, there is a stand-up comedian that is stand-up interpretation. Are we standing Slavs then?
No.
No. Okay. I was pushing for a rebranding of our channel.
No, he wanted to create a sub-channel.
Two Slavs doing IT. But anyways,
What are we chatting about today?
today I'm going to be trying to make sense of the social networks that we are dealing with. The idea is
Not that again.
no. What I want to pick your brain about is the social network in itself, for example, I don't know, Twitter or Facebook or whatever, turning you into a person that has a kind of worldview or a outlook on life, or are you the one who is defining the network? So are you choosing the network based on your outlook that you already have?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, let's roll the intro and then do the talk.
Please enlighten me.
I was reading Twitter a few days ago.
Why, for the love of Christ?
Because Twitter has turned into a kind of a mixed thing. It's basically when you need to go to the source. And Ninja Turtles are in there, so source makes some kind of sense, but at the same time they are source. So you can find amazing things inside them, but also there is amazing amount of crap that is inside the Twitter. And I was reading it, and I was trying to understand: is the network turning itself that way because it basically moves away and gets less visibility, gives less visibility to the articles that are published by normal people, or are actually people who have this kind of outlook or this kind of view on how they should post just attracted to Twitter because the Twitter is such a
Source.
complete basically source. And then I was thinking about the Facebook, because Facebook is not that bad, but Facebook is being considered a network for older people.
Okay.
So generations, whatever they are called, Zoomers, Z, Y, X, whatever,
Everything.
they are not going to be on the Facebook anymore. At
Okay.
the same time, every older person and every business that doesn't understand social networking is going to be on the Facebook. So, is the Facebook being done or being designed by people who are on it, or are just people who are older just flocking to it because they are afraid of other social networks?
Okay, Donatello.
And then we come to the TikTok.
And then we come to LinkedIn.
And then we come to LinkedIn. I don't know why LinkedIn exists. If
I
you
can show you.
No. Without showing anything, you can try to explain to me why LinkedIn exists.
Okay.
Other than actually as a way to be a low effort version of Facebook, to just
It's much worse than that.
to win the egos without having to post so many pictures.
Okay, let's start with Twitter, or X, as they call it nowadays. This is your network. So
No.
Oh, yes.
No. It's Elon's network.
Okay, you know what I'm saying. So in that part of the conversation, you're going to have to explain to me what the appeal of Twitter is, because I never understood that. That's the first thing. We had an episode earlier last year when we talked about Twitter, and I'm still baffled by the idea of, short news in 160 characters or whatever it is, because it's not news anymore, and it's not, there's a lot of toxicity there and whatnot. I only used Twitter when I wanted to share some links back in the good old days of RSS. I used to share links for articles that I wrote, but I never used it for anything else. I don't think that I ever wrote a message on Twitter unless it was done by a tool that publishes a link for an article or a content. I don't think I ever personally posted anything there. So please explain to me why Twitter is important in less than half an hour.
Okay, so basically you need to be a tool to post in it. So either you're using the tool or you are a tool.
Okay.
And this is one of those things. Twitter used to be the way to get the breaking news as fast as possible. It probably was the fastest way to get to get the news when something was happening, and this was the appeal.
Okay.
Right now, Twitter is still this source of breaking news. It's also the source of more or less unfiltered news if you are prepared to put up with multiple views on the given news source,
Okay.
without any affiliations, or basically you can get news from any kind of three-letter agencies there. You're going to get information is going to be part of the information warfare. It's simply just out there, but you can get unfiltered news. The downside is that you are going to be completely swarmed by bots, by articles that don't make any sense, the videos that don't make any sense because they're just clickbaity. They are getting more and more and more. I wouldn't say vulgar. I would say
Hostile.
not only hostile but graphic, and they are trying to push to the limit. It is completely normal to see a person getting killed on Twitter today. The reason is that Twitter is selling itself as a completely unfiltered news site or message site. So there are almost no filters when it comes to the content and everything that is posted. And so I wouldn't call it content; it's clickbait. But I would say the normal order of things is that you have to push the content to be as controversial and as graphic as possible, if you want to keep up with the clickbait. So basically, it's just a war on how graphic can be so that people are going to click on articles, and it is getting out of control completely. On the other hand, if you are able to filter those accounts, because those accounts are more or less automated bots, then you can actually get the news, and you can talk to some normal people, semi-normal people there. And I don't know what the appeal is. I know that it is not as boring as Facebook, and it is not as egoistic as LinkedIn.
Okay.
It is not as ADHD inducing as TikTok.
Okay.
And it is not as completely Photoshop as Instagram.
Okay.
So I just like the Twitter for the rawness of it. It is not good. You need to have quite a set of, I would say, guts to be able to go there, because you're going to see things that usually would be posted on 4chan or Rotten.com when back in the days, because this is the content that we are looking at right now, and this is one of the problems. But my thing that I was trying to understand is, did the network or the social media create this by their own volition, or did they just were they always that, but people just came to it and just use the algorithm to be popular?
I think it's very easy to answer that. Both you and I started using internet, let's say mid-90s more and more, when it was popularized in our country at least. The first network that we connected to was Internet Relay Chat, and Internet Relay Chat was just like that as well.
Yes.
It was there were less people. It wasn't as mass as it is nowadays on Twitter, Facebook, and whatnot, depending on which server you used. If you went to external foreign servers, then it was a little bit different. But the amount of BS and toxicity wasn't as bad as it is today, because people weren't as, people weren't as open about talking about their private lives in public chat,
yes,
in internet, in IRC. That's one thing. And the second thing, we did not get into a lot of I don't know, toxic political discussions, economy discussions, and what we talked about music, technology, video games, stuff
Yes, but the thing,
that is pushed a little bit backwards today, I think.
but I think that when RC was available, there were two things that redefined it or defined it that are completely opposed to what is happening right now in all the social media. First, the number of users was probably 4 or 5 orders of magnitude smaller. Even if you count the foreign servers and if you count all the servers, the numbers were sometimes in the mid tens of thousands.
Okay.
So you could get to up to 50,000 people on the entire RC network across the world. And the other thing is that you didn't have the likes and the favorites and the way of noting down every message. So there wasn't any incentive to write clickbaitish messages because nobody cared. Your message was a message. If somebody read it, okay. If they didn't, they could scroll back if they were logged into the server. If they didn't, that was it.
There was one more fundamental difference. In IRC in 1995-6, when I started using that service, we had bots as well.
Yes.
They were TCL/TK-based bots. But the way in which we used bots in those times was complete polar opposite to what people use it today. Bots were used to admin the channel or to make fun. Basically, to give you message of the day, to tell you jokes. You could have actually discussed things with the bot. It had a set of statically predefined messages, and you can just kind of ping it to tell you something that is going to make you laugh. Versus today, it's basically being used to obliterate every piece of information everywhere that's correct, incorrect, whatever. They're everywhere. And they're being used by people to take the, I wouldn't call it freedom of speech. I think it's much worse, in a little bit of a different direction than that. But it's taking that idea of freedom of speech to the extreme.
I think that
people moved along with that as well.
But the thing is that I was in the research that I did. I actually was using ChatGPT to see. I was asking it what would be the idea if you had a social network and if you wanted to transition from a social network as Twitter was, I don't know, 5 years ago, to the way the social network was right now. If you wanted to do that kind of transition, how would you do it? And ChatGPT basically said that it should be done gradually, it should be tested and everything else. And then I asked, okay, what are the difference between the things that you proposed? Okay, sorry. What are the difference between what you proposed to what Twitter actually did? And what Twitter, the X, actually did is completely opposed to everything that is a regular way of doing things. Okay. So we didn't do anything gradually. It was all done overnight. They didn't test anything. They didn't try everything out. They just made a push, then for no reason changed it, and then again
whatever sticks to the wall.
Yes, and what they did, it was without any obvious plan.
Okay.
And this is one of the things that actually modeled how X looks today, because people who are opposed to changes, you know, when a large application on the web changes the appearance, usually there is 10 to 15% of people who hate it for whatever reason. People who are like that, who oppose the change, don't feel welcome at Twitter. Because the X or the Twitter, as it is right now, is going to change overnight. Something can just appear and then disappear. Nobody knows why.
Like Azure Portal.
Like Azure portals, yes. But the thing is that nobody takes it seriously anymore. Okay. So when you suddenly see that something is there, you say, okay, it is there, fine. And this is kind of an approach that users have, so they're used to it. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all of them are trying to have a set of users that are not going to be scared by new changes. So they're usually not changing anything, or the changes take a couple of years to implement.
So my point, going back to Internet Relay Chat, was the following. In the era of that, people were still heavily, I wouldn't say constrained, but they were aware of, at least publicly, they were aware of the moral side of things more than they are today. moral approach to sending messages nowadays that doesn't exist anymore at all. And the way in which the internet relay chat was shaped over the years it was shaped by the users, most definitely. It wasn't shaped by the service itself because the service didn't change at all. It was what it was. You connected to it, you had some popular commands. You could send files, receive files, send messages, receive messages, log into a bot. The amount of functions, the access, yeah, DCC,
yes, yes,
DCC chat,
DCC, sorry.
DCC send, yeah. The problem, not the problem. The fact of the matter was that it was much more limited to the services that when compared to the services we had today. That's the first thing. But of course, people being people, just took that to the next logical step with IRQ and everything else after that. Moving on to Facebook, ICQ, yeah, yeah. Moving on to Facebook and everything else, I see that as a long progression over a time span of 25, 30 years, which ended up in a situation in which we are today because of the fact that it wasn't. It's just the same thing as we discussed in some of the previous episodes. I wouldn't say it wasn't properly moderated, although that's definitely a problem. But to moderate things on a scale that we're talking today, of course, that's going to be a significant challenge. On Internet Relay Chat, you had admins for every channel, multiple usually.
Yes.
People were banning people from the channel if they became rude, oftentimes.
So basically, what made Reddit work?
In the past, yes. Not today. Today it's a toxic thing that does what it does. But yeah, it wasn't a different era. It was the precursory to the development that we had after that on Facebook and everything else, and that's a problem, because we are moving. I have nothing against people saying what they want to say. If that's the basis of Twitter or X, I generally don't have a problem with people saying what they think. But that being said, the idea behind saying something should always be that if you cannot add constructively to the discussion, you should shut the hell up. And every kind of flame that happens, because people just try to top themselves. One wants to top another, and hammer on somebody and whatnot. That's just so stupid, because it becomes a habit, and then you do that in real life, and then you become completely removed from reality. And people who are not into those things will notice that, and they will not want to have much to do with you.
But I think this has a lot of with the way that people are shaped by the environment.
Yeah.
Because let's go back 50 years ago. I was reading an old newspaper because I'm trying to do some research completely outside of the IT, because I was trying to do something, and I was reading old articles from 70s and 60s from the newspapers here in Zagreb. And the thing is that there was a huge accident here in Zagreb. I won't even name it. And the thing was that the accident itself was huge. 100 plus fatalities, something like 160 and so. A huge accident. And I was reading the newspapers from that day and the day after it. And what caught my attention is not the news itself, but the way it was covered. Basically, what they did is they devoted the 2/3 of the front page to the biggest accident in the history of whatever. Then they said, okay, more on the page 41. The page 41 was actually dedicated page for the accidents and the things that happened that were considered the chronicle. It was called the Black Chronicle. Basically the things that involved any kind of police and everything else. It had 2/3 of the page there, just the facts, and that was it. Nobody was trying to do what they would do today. So the front 16 pages with graphics and everything else. And
inject opinions.
Yes, and the thing that why I did that is because I was talking to...
We were talking about that.
Yeah, but I was talking to an editor, a now late editor, that was actually working in this newspaper when it happened. And he told me that this was the way to cover the story.
Agreed.
Because they had a photo person on site. On site, he came back with something like 200 images, and those images were completely either graphic or just overview of everything. And so they had the images that could be considered clickbaity today, but they decided not to use it because it didn't make any sense. This is the first thing, and it was there was some sort of I would say.
I think it was probably related to the way in which the editorial process worked
No,
as well.
not only that, but they have
Journalistic as well.
they wanted to have some sort of relationship with the victims and to say, okay, there were people who died in this crash, so we don't want to expose anything about them since we want to keep their privacy private, basically. So they chose the basically the most generic images for the article and never published the rest of them.
And generic approach to the article itself as well.
It wasn't generic. It was in depth because
No.
it said everything that happened. But they
Compared to today.
compared to today, it had, I would say, 50% more facts and 100% less stories that didn't make any sense. Because they weren't trying to make a clickbaity article out of it. People bought the newspapers because they wanted to see what the news were. Now, people are not buying the news. People are clicking, and the way that you are buying, you're paying for your content, is that all the portals and social networks basically are selling your eyeballs. And so if you're clicking on something, you are then buying the stuff. So they want to give you the content that you are going to click on. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to give you a content that is factual.
No, actually, it's worse. And this was very well described in one of the TV shows that you got me hooked up on, which you like very much. I know that for a fact. People are not choosing the news anymore, or the articles, or the papers or whatnot. They are choosing the facts.
Yes.
Which is complete opposite of how it should work.
And
it has been like that for the past at least 20 years.
And this is why I started in the 70s and this article, because when you are growing up in such an environment, you have some kind of inkling of understanding what is good and what is bad.
Moral compass.
And what should be mentioned in the news and what shouldn't. So when you are expressing yourself, you understand what the platform is and how to behave on it. So you are basically pasting or copy-pasting your way of understanding your environment into this platform. So you are going to be much more concentrated on the facts and trying to be normal than just trying to get the attention on you. And once the attention was there, so on the IRC or on ICQ, you didn't have so much focus on the person itself.
Okay.
On IRC, you chatted, but nobody actually knew who you were. You just had a handle. That was it.
Yeah, nickname.
You had a nickname. You didn't have anything else. You didn't have a picture. You didn't have a. You could create a profile, but nobody bothered with it. So even if you had the profile was more or less ASCII art. So this was the furthest that you could go. Yes, and the thing was that suddenly, when Facebook created the idea of the profile, or MySpace created the idea of the profile, so a person with things about them, an image, and so they suddenly created a way of people to point the spotlight to themselves, and then the worst in people came out.
Okay, moving on from Twitter to Facebook, what do you have to say about that?
I honestly don't know. It has become more or less like yellow pages out of a phone book from hell, basically. I wouldn't call it... no, sorry, the white pages. The yellow pages said LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
LinkedIn is the yellow pages.
Yellow pages, correct. That's a good metaphor.
Yes, the thing is that Facebook is now, from my perspective, completely
irrelevant.
Not irrelevant, but it's complete fabrication. It's just a shard of the reality that does not exist. Everybody is talking about themselves in such a way that they are representing themselves in the best light.
No, they're talking about others. not
And they are talking
themselves.
about others, but when they are talking about themselves, it's usually when they are doing something that they perceive as being better than everybody else.
Okay.
So I visited, I don't know, whatever. I was in Paris and I visited Montmartre or whatever. And then you say, okay, but how long were you there? For 24 hours. So basically, you have a snippet of somebody doing something that he doesn't do, and he's not going to do any time in his life anymore. But this is supposed to be his present, and this is, as I said, a shard of reality. I like the idea of reality becoming sharded, or becoming sliced into small pieces that don't make when you try to put them together, they don't make a whole. And this is
Why?
what people, because the people are creating this reality. So when you're
But
talking
why?
about self,
Why do you like that?
because it makes it easier to understand what people are doing.
Or how much BS they are inputting?
Yes.
Okay, I get it.
So basically, you take a person's post from Twitter, from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from Instagram, from TikTok, and then you try to make sense of who they are. And it is not going to match.
I don't care about anybody that much to
Me
check
neither.
on,
Me,
on,
me,
on
me
all of
neither.
them.
But it's interesting
To a lot of people there.
No, but it's interesting when you just spot a person that you know on one of the networks, and you say, okay, who is this person? Because I know this person in real life. So I suddenly see something about them that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, that's also related to the fact that people started feeding the monster. So they started feeding all of those social networks with the data about their personal lives, which is one of the reasons for the moral downfall that we have today. One of the biggest ones, actually. It baffles me that people are freely giving away information about their private lives to whatever and whomever, just like that. I'm completely the opposite to that. I know you are as well
For most of it.
for a vast majority of it. I'm a little bit more extreme than you. And we have a couple of colleagues in our office as well. One of them is even more extreme than me, which is difficult to actually implement as well.
Okay, we have one of the colleagues who is extreme by any standard, but he's a professional pen tester. Then,
Yeah.
so he's completely off the charts.
Yeah.
But the thing is that people think that if they publish so much about themselves, that they're going to become interesting. And this is one of those.
Yeah, it's social media clout.
Yes,
story.
but not only this, but you as a person usually have the idea that you need to be relevant. And
Okay.
if you are unable to
The
be,
way in which you achieve relevancy is the problem here.
yes, if you're unable to achieve relevancy by doing something, then you have the tendency of trying to achieve relevancy by inventing something about
Or
yourself.
clickbaiting something.
I'm going to say inventing something about yourself. I'm not going to say lying, but twisting the truth in such a way that makes sense. And this is the reason why people take selfies with celebrities. This is the reason why people
Take selfies next to a fake airplane window,
Yes,
turning
totally.
out to be a toilet seat.
But this is the reason, because you are trying to say, okay, I am relevant. I have met this person. Because in reality, when you take a selfie with anybody, especially somebody you don't know, it is just probably 2 seconds of somebody taking a picture with you and not caring about you at all. So it doesn't make you relevant. You were just in the same time and place as this person, and by chance this person took an image with you. And this is something that doesn't make you more or less relevant. Even in my opinion, it makes you less relevant.
Agreed.
We met some famous people and we took selfies with them, but not because I wanted to publish them, and I didn't publish any of them, but because I just want to have a memory, because I wanted to see what was happening back then.
There was one significant difference back then, which was the fact that the digital photographic cameras were just at the start. So you were taking basically the old analog cameras and taking those pictures for the most part of that let's say past tense of our careers, which also meant that you choose you apply different criteria to the pictures that you developed from the negatives. And
Yes.
also you very, very, very much spent time thinking about which picture you're going to show to somebody. To that point, I'm completely with you. You completely described my experience as well. We went all across the world with different fairs and whatnot. I went to US and Taiwan. You've been there too as well. I met a whole bunch of musicians on some fairs and whatnot. Have gazillions of pictures with them, but some of the pictures that I took there, and I have hundreds. I only took one per famous person, and if I showed them to anybody at all, it was like, let's say, amongst the group of people who are musicians, and not necessarily for me, being the big boss. It's just for fun.
I'm going to
and
go
not for relevancy.
No, I'm going to go even further. When I went to the to different assignments, basically, because those were assignments,
Yep.
I usually didn't take any pictures at all. Usually somebody took the picture for me. And the reason for the picture itself wasn't to create a reality for myself.
False sense of importance.
No, usually the reason why I did take the picture was to have a picture from the actual place, because this was one of the things that you do when you did the article in the newspaper.
Yeah, you wanted to have some graphic content which would represent something.
Yes, and you want to say I was actually there, because otherwise people could just invent the texts.
They started doing that.
Yes.
Fabrications were very, very much alive
And
back
this was the thing that you did because you wanted to say, okay, I actually was there. So this wasn't created out of my sense of I want to have a picture taken, but because you had to have it. Because this was which made you relevant, but it made you relevant in another way.
Yeah.
It just proved that you didn't only write the text, you were actually there. And when you mentioned that you did something there, you actually did it probably, because you were there. So you had the opportunity to do it.
I usually took a picture with the badge of the fair or something like that, and that was usually in the article. Not because I wanted to be famous because of that. It was actually the era in which a lot of the internet commentary started, so you had official, basically proof that you were there.
And this is the one thing, and the other thing was the famous image in front of the pavilion or in front of the whatever was the signage that declared this was the CBIT or this was IFA or this is whatever CES or whatever. But we are moving away from the subject. The thing is that people are the one who are shaping the network, and I think that they are shaping the network in two ways. First, the moderation or the lack of moderation is one thing, but the other thing is that people are perceiving the network as something, and since they want to use their shard of reality, because I'm going to use this term, they want it to fit somewhere. So if they feel like they should be fitting in amongst older people, they're going to be on the Facebook. If they want to feel young,
bending reality of the real world to their own, and vice versa.
If they want to feel young, they were going to try to create something on the I don't know, on TikTok or Instagram. Usually on Instagram.
So we are going to TikTok.
Yes, after I finish my OnlyFans. But the thing is that this is the thing that is completely shaping the social network in such a way that it isn't a social network anymore.
Okay, I agree.
Because the idea of the social network should be connecting people.
The worst example of that is actually LinkedIn, but we're going to get to that in the end.
Let me just use the term that Karel Čapek invented.
Okay.
Way before internet. Karel Čapek, look it up.
Look it up in the dictionary, just like Figlet.
Yes, he's a very interesting author from Czech Republic. I think it's Czech Republic.
I think so too.
And he invented an idea of duologue. So basically, dialogue is when two people are talking. Duologue is when two people are talking but not listening to each other.
Yes, which is what it is today.
So basically what we are seeing is multilogue. Multilogue being everybody is screaming into the void but nobody is listening to anybody else.
Today it's all about waiting for a turn to speak, as Jordan Peterson says. He's completely right there.
Yes, but nobody is waiting for the turn.
No, but people, you say something to me, and I'm just waiting to refute you or something. I'm not listening to you. I found the point that I want to debunk, and then I want to respond to that, and then roll the train over all
I
that.
think it's even worse. But because
that's the core
while you are talking, I'm going to post a million messages on why you are wrong without mentioning you, because I need to be in the center. So I don't want to mention you even. I just want to say something to the void, and the void, if it listens, usually it doesn't, it's going to make it have some sense.
Such an enormous amount of people have a problem with the main character syndrome. It's just incredible.
Yes, especially the NPC ones. But the thing is that
NPC.
NPCs. But the thing is that when people are thinking about social networking, we are using the term social networking to denote establishing new connections and new ways of communicating with other people.
Okay.
Can you name any social network right now that actually enables that?
For me, LinkedIn still does, but after I shuffle a lot of, brown water from it.
I must say,
I really have daily examples of that.
no, but the idea is that what I'm dealing with by using X or Twitter is the same thing that you're dealing with by using LinkedIn.
No, LinkedIn is worse.
No, but it is, I would say
Compared
it's worse.
to its original idea,
No,
it's
compared
much
to
worse.
compared to its original idea is completely off. It's just another network, so it's a different network. The idea behind it was completely different, but they went through their own spam phase when they were trying to spam everybody into going to LinkedIn. They tried to reinvent themselves before Microsoft bought them. Now they are just
Filling the void.
just another failed experiment in social networking by Microsoft.
Okay.
I think that what they did is that they got the worst of the worst from what Microsoft was trying to do with their own networks. I don't even remember the
Yammer?
names. Yammer and what was the one before it?
I don't remember really.
Wasn't there a version of Skype that was supposed to support something
I don't know.
like this? I don't know. But Yammer was one of those.
Yeah. We called it Jammer.
But the thing was that those networks were even worse than what Google is doing with the chats. Because
That's a good one.
Google is failing faster. Microsoft doesn't know how to fail. So they just keep it alive.
Stick with it, yeah.
They just stick with it, and I don't understand the reason why those networks even exist.
I can literally show you. So to LinkedIn's credit, I could show you the messages that I got in the past couple of days. So this is from today. This is from Thursday, Tuesday, Monday. So I have a whole bunch of messages here, and I have them, all the time. It's all of these things, all of the messages that I got are strictly for what LinkedIn is for. It's all work. People asking, can you do this? Can you do this for me? Are you looking for a job, temporary one, remote one? Can you do education for me? Stuff like that. So that's good. As long as I don't look at the wall on LinkedIn, everything is fine. If I go to that page and start scrolling to what people are writing, that's a different story. But before we go to LinkedIn, let's talk about, let's say, Instagram and TikTok.
I'm going to go with I don't have enough data points to talk about Instagram.
I do.
Because Instagram is not something that I'm usually on. I have enough to be able to be critical about TikTok. And the reason why I have enough is because by using YouTube, I simply cannot avoid most of the TikTok content.
Okay.
Because what YouTube is turning into right now is basically
Shorts equals
and those
TikTok,
shorts
yeah.
are usually TikTok videos either cut down or just completely cross-posted to YouTube.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about this is that YouTube has the YouTube shorts have to be shorter than the shorts on the TikTok.
Okay.
So basically, when you cross-post from TikTok to YouTube, if you don't pay attention, you're not going to get the end of the video.
Cool.
So you're going to get the first minute, and that's it. So usually the shorts on YouTube are not only, let's say, bad as they are on TikTok, they are even worse.
They're
Because
crippled versions.
Yes, because they don't have the ending. So they are just
Missing the punchline in a lot of
yes,
times.
missing the punchline. So the thing is that I don't like TikTok because TikTok is also farming for clicks.
Yeah.
And people trying to be more interested than they are in the real life. On the other hand, the only thing that actually captures my attention are the slow-moving videos on YouTube. I prefer videos by, I don't know, Big Clive or EV Blog or somebody who is doing in-depth talks about completely unreasonable topics like disassembling linear actuator and trying to explain how it works in 45 minutes, or disassembling an old heater and trying to understand what was the reason why it failed, then I would probably spend time on TikTok.
TikTok experiment was done by one of our colleagues a couple of weeks ago. So 3 or 4 weeks ago, our colleague got a little bit sick, so he was forced to stay at home for a few days, and we were getting ready to do some stuff on TikTok for our college as well. So he spent an afternoon looking at TikTok videos. Basically, from the moment when he started till the moment that he finished watching the TikTok videos, he was completely unavailable for any kind of phone call, message, whatever. He was catatonic, basically. And when he woke up, he I don't know if he called me or just sent me a message. He was like, Jesus Christ, this is just crazy how it completely overwhelms somebody. Even, I mean, he's 50 years old. He's not a child. And the dopamine crap that happens because of all of that, and searching for extra content that's whatever the topic is, it just took him by surprise. He spent, I don't know, better part of 6 or 7 hours just doing that on a big screen TV, by the way, as
And
well.
he got infected because I saw the TikTok today that he posted. So I think that this is not the end of it.
Yeah, but he did that for research reasons, literally.
But as I said, he got infected.
Yeah, that's
this is
we're
the
going to have to,
There's the dopamine infection
sanitize
problem.
him.
But okay, he has his own addictions, and I like those addictions.
Yeah, the games.
The risk, he's playing risk all the time on the phone. But this is his way of turning off his brain
yeah.
and just shifting from one task to the other.
No, this is his way of clearing the brain from TMI, from too much information.
Not only this, but shifting tasks from one task to the other. So he usually does something, then goes out for a coffee, does 20 minutes of risk, and then comes back and does
or 2
something
hours of
completely
risk. Yeah.
Okay, that's something completely different. This is the
TikTok
the
way,
difference.
yeah.
This is the difference. You want to talk about Instagram?
Yeah, I've started scrolling through Instagram in the past 6-7 months more, not because I wanted to do it myself, but because my partner looks at it, uses it from time to time. Again, not in a regular Instagram way, not looking for influencers or travelers or all of that crap. It's more about 2 things. It's about cooking and various gadgets that could help us out. Let me give you an example. She found a whole bunch of very interesting, let's say, different food topics on Instagram.
Okay.
It's super popular. Instagram channels with food are super popular. Sometimes some stuff related to fashion, but that's not really what we do, which is good because that can overwhelm you very quickly. The second part of that story, as I mentioned, is various types of gadgets. Just to give you an example, she found me that glove with a light, with a built-in battery, which is perfect for us when we go into the data center and we need to go into the racks where there is not enough light, stuff like that. She found that on Instagram, stuff like that. Like, let's say in the past year, she found me 5 or 10 things like that, which literally improve the things that I do, or for herself. Doesn't
I
really
use
matter.
Temu for this. So
Yeah, I don't have the patience to use Temu for that, and there are the reasons why I don't use it, but that's another topic. So for me, because basically what we did our own filtering of the stuff happening on Instagram, and we narrowed it down to 2 or 3 interesting topics, and that's it. And for me, the third interesting topic is always going to be the thing that the internet was invented for, which is for cats, dogs, National Geographic images, stuff like that. I like watching those, that type of content on Instagram because there's a lot of it and it's fun. It's kind of relaxing for my brain at least. But I don't use Instagram for anything else. I don't care about any influencing, or I don't care about the fashion. I don't care about traveling. All of that I can already watch in long format on YouTube if I wanted to, which is something that I prefer.
I also prefer YouTube to anything else. And when I mentioned Temu, there is another thing. Not Temu, all the Chinese sites, so Chinese commerce sites. I prefer them to Instagram, and I just realized why. Instagram is usually going to give you idea of different gadgets and things that you can do. But what Temu is going to give you is they're going to give you the particular gadgets, and you can actually get them.
Okay.
It is not that they are going to be recommended and then you need to search for them. And also, it is not going to, when you realize how they work, they are not going to be too annoying. You're just scrolling through the bunch of crap, basically. And then when you see something that you're interested in, and this is the way that I'm using Timo right now, I put everything into the basket. And then wait a few days,
Of course.
go to the basket
Yeah.
and say, okay, the basket is right now, I don't know, 200 euros. I'm not willing to spend more than 20.
Yeah.
I'm just going to delete the whole of it.
I do the same thing on eBay.
And this is the thing that actually saves me a lot of money. Because I tend to buy things that I don't need.
Yes.
And if I put them into the basket, I get the dopamine hit, but then I don't buy them.
That's window shopping, basically.
Yes, so basically
that's
window shopping.
our version of window shopping.
Yes, but it is not as intrusive as TikTok or Instagram.
Okay.
Because
Agreed.
I can actually do it in my own way. I can read the descriptions. I usually I enjoy reading the descriptions.
Infinite amount of fun.
Yes, infinite amount of fun, but I must say that AI has completely ruined that fun. Now the descriptions make
But that's
sense.
it. No, oh, really? I
Yes.
thought that it was another type of
No,
fun.
no. It makes sense right now.
Damn it.
Because they are able to actually generate nonsensical text that is grammatically and synthetically okay.
But not related to the product.
But loosely.
Loosely, yeah.
Yes. So you can get
On the fringes of the product.
No. The thing is that when we are dealing with, when I'm talking about the Chinese sites, they're usually using keywords because they're trying to to use the algorithm. So I don't know. You want to buy a spoon, and the spoon can be wireless, can be Bluetooth, can be AI enabled, and so on. And it's actually a spoon. So this is not something that you can actually think about. But this is the reason why I use the site, because it is both hilarious, entertaining, and sometimes I can actually buy something.
Okay. If that's your fun, eBay is the same for me. I don't necessarily put them in the basket because that gets me a lot of emails from eBay. That's annoying. I usually just put them on my list, and you just check from time to time. And then I get, for example, emails from eBay when somebody drops the price heavily, which is okay. Maybe I want to buy that thing.
If you want to see how Chinese sites work, choose something that has any price. I don't care. Just choose something that has any price, and then check on the basket every day.
Yeah, it's going to change
It
the
is going
price
to
every
be-
day.
It's going to be changing the price multiple times a day. I know it because I bought something that was extremely cheap. I bought that small light. You saw it, the small light that can be fixed on the camera, and it was something like €4 something, or €5. I have seen the price of this particular item come from €5 to €27, and everything in between.
And yeah,
And this is entertaining for me because I like to look at the phenomena of internet selling, and this is something that actually makes sense to me to just track the price of one product. I'm not tracking it actively, but I can see it because if there is something that was €5 and you now see it for €27, you say, okay, why is this like this? And then you suddenly realize that the reason is, I don't know, algorithms, the way they're pushing the price and so on. So this is another different thing, but you wanted to finish with something on LinkedIn.
yeah. So just as a preface to that discussion, which is going to take a little bit of time, I'm going to openly state that I use LinkedIn stubbornly and exclusively in a way in which it's meant to be used. I'm not using it for anything else. So it's only for business contacts. I only post stuff there that's related to something that we do, usually. Let's say a conference, a visit from somebody, maybe some paper that we published, or maybe some kind of a certificate or something that we achieve. I share other people's certificates as well, and or like their, let's say, posts when acclaim.com, or what used to be acclaim.com, now called Credly, when it publishes something on their behalf, stuff like that. But I stubbornly use it exclusively in the way in which it's meant to be played, as old NVIDIA would say. Reason for that is because this has been going on for years. So this is not yesterday's news. It is basically something that started happening, let's say, 4 or 5 years ago, especially in the pandemic, as a lot of people got fired as a result of it and started looking for jobs. A lot of people also were very desperate to find a job, which is something that we should feel emphatic for. I have no problem with that. But they started doing a lot of people started doing what people do on Facebook, what they do on Instagram, in different types of media. On Instagram, it's in video. In YouTube, it's in video. On Facebook, at that time, because it didn't necessarily have video functionality, it was in text, talking about themselves and their family and problems and children and whatnot. I mean, it was difficult to read that from a human perspective. But at that time, when that started happening, a lot of people were reacting to that in a sense of, you know what, we feel for you, but get the hell off, don't talk about stuff like that here. This is a business network. Because that's partially the way in which the capitalism brought us as well, to kind of distill the emotional part from the professional part. I find that to work for me mostly, but not necessarily
It is disturbing from a human perspective.
Yes.
But, it is something that people do. I'm going to interject and say there is only one thing that I passionately hate about things on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And this is the way that they are reinventing the reality.
Okay.
And when
you mean every single people writing about themselves?
Yes, because
almost.
this reinvention of reality, this shard of reality, is usually starting with I'm going to now come from the mountain and I'm going to give you the advice on how to work.
Yes.
And this is the most annoying.
No, this is arrogance at the highest level.
Yes, and this is the most annoying kind of post that I can see on LinkedIn. Because when somebody says...
These are the most often posts.
Yes,
now.
I know.
It annoys the hell out of me.
This is what annoys me.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I'm not on LinkedIn. Because I especially don't like when people try to explain to me how things should be done.
Mm-hmm.
And even more especially when they are not actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It is the same as the what was CEO. Now it is, I don't know what is the CEO, SEO. Optimization for the search engines. I don't know what is the craze right now. Probably AI.
Probably, yeah.
Probably AI. But the thing is that when you got somebody who was a search engine optimization expert, and then you ask them, okay, what is your website? Oh, I don't have one.
Or Yomla or Mambo or WordPress.
But what is your website? What is the website that you actually were managed to that you managed to create as a successful website by using your techniques? None.
Mm-hmm.
But they are selling you the techniques to make your website better.
And again, there is a way to fight that. Again, I do that to the extreme level. If I say that I am a Red Hat certified whatever, I post the certificate there and anybody can check. Stuff like that. I dislike the fake reality that you are talking about so much that it kind of precludes me from using that network. I stopped using it on general principle because there isn't enough the filters that I should use to filter that crap out don't exist. I should do everything manually. And Facebook is actually in the past 3 to 6 months has started pushing non-related content to you, stuff that's sponsored and whatnot, like crazy. I usually spend 10 minutes every week just Xing every single channel that Facebook offers me, and sometimes it's hundreds of channels in a row without anything that's related to stuff that
I know.
It annoys the hell out of me. LinkedIn is exactly the same without LinkedIn pushing it, which is worse. Because people are doing that, not the engine.
The thing it's called organically grown content.
No,
but the thing is that is that
the content equals the plant, right?
No. But the thing is that you said that you are just posting your certificate. This is the thing that I would like to see. What I'm actually seeing is people who are posting the certificate, and there is probably on a screen or screen and a half a text that says, when I was 7, I realized that electricity can do something for me.
LinkedIn has become the worst of the toxicity of trying to be an influencer.
Yes, but the thing is that the electricity did something to me. And then I realized that I could learn.
And then my IQ was raised by 200 points.
No. You
but
can
subliminally.
You can read how your IQ can accomplish, be on par with mine, if you just listen to this, or you read this post.
No, read this post. Buy this post.
No, okay. Can you buy the poster on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, buy the article, buy the PDF, buy the document.
Anyways, the thing is that I think that it's not LinkedIn's fault.
And buy this course. This is even worse. They have LinkedIn courses. They exist. They have a lot of stuff related to education, which is excellent, actually, especially from the IT, computer science perspective. But when people start selling their stuff there, that's different story.
The thing is that the same as with Udemy, I know that on Udemy there are excellent, amazing courses.
Yeah.
But also there are so many so cringy courses that are created just to get some money out of people. And usually the difference is that the most amazing courses are 10 to 15 hours in length, and the worst of them are 360 hours in length and so on. I have seen a course on Python that was 360 hours.
Okay.
And you know how they managed to do that?
No.
They have 5-minute videos. There is 2 minutes of intro, 1 minute of outro, and what is remaining is the person telling you something. So basically, you have 3 minutes of a filler, and then 2 minutes or one and a half minutes. So basically 4 sentences.
From the education quality perspective, that's BS.
No, this is one thing, and the other thing is that first the start of this content is usually something new, and then in the next episode you're going to be learning about this, and this.
Yeah.
So basically, if you get it down, you probably would get, I don't know, 3 hours or 4 hours of lecture, but they are selling 360 hours. So this is the idea. But this is one of those things we should do an episode on online learning.
We should. But we started with some of the stuff that we gave our colleagues to do for us in terms of e-learning. So
Yes,
we
but we should do an episode on how e-learning works and why it doesn't work when it doesn't work, because there is a lot of things that people don't know and don't understand about e-learning. Let me just do the most superficial thing that we are doing right now. We are standing up. We are talking in a different way than when we are doing when we are sitting down.
Yeah.
And the reason is because we have the more capacity for in our lungs for the air, so we can use longer sentences. And this makes me even more annoying. And,
Yes.
thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
On that, I'm going to finish this episode. It's over. Go home. Subscribe.
That's
like,
all,
and
folks.
go.
Yeah.
And
Share, like, subscribe.
Share, like, and subscribe, and go home because he's done. He's done. Let's cancel him.
He is being oppressed.
Yes, I'm oppressed. Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you for being with us, and see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.